Okay.
Oh, good. Okay, it's recording. Hi, Cheryl. How are you?
Hi, Christy. I'm good. Thank
Okay,
you.
so thank you for being on the call. I guess what I was hoping to do today and what my goal today is just, I want to try just to show you where some forms, information about certifications is located on Insightly. So if you ever have a question about a form, a signed host agreement, even a reservation form with private, any kind of tracking forms that we do, if you have a specific question about a person, you could possibly check on Insightly before you were to reach out to one of us in certification. So it's real quick and easy, and that's what I'm hoping to accomplish today.
Well, that sounds really helpful for me. So I'm
Okay.
looking.
So what I'm going to do, let me go ahead and share my screen. I've got Insightly open. I also have in I just started chewing a cough drop because I've had this cold now for 2 weeks.
It's always
So hopefully, yeah, I actually had laryngitis for like 3.5 days. So
I know.
I'm doing much better.
I heard your voice. It was very sexy.
Okay, so the first thing, so I'm on Insightly, and I actually automatically for what I do, I automatically go to projects, and so these are all of the certifications. So looking at Insightly, why don't we just look at one of the cert events that just passed? How about like Phoenix?
Okay, that sounds
That's
good.
very recent. So let me go ahead and open it up. Okay. So looking here, these are, of course, that's just all the basic information, but if you go to related right here,
Yep.
that's where all of the external things are housed. Yep, I'm sure you know that because you can upload, emails and
contracts and things. Yeah.
yeah. So under files is the one where I save everything. I think that's probably the best place to save different files. Would you think that files would be saved anyplace else, or do you think that would be a good place to keep them?
I think it's the best place to keep them, although I have noticed that some people put files in different places. But I think if everyone were consistent, it would make it very easy.
Okay, that's good to know. I will certainly bring that up because I'm not the only person who's putting these things in here. Diane, Leslie, I'll make sure that they know. I know notes is where I believe we put emails, any notes about conversations. So that's good to know. So, yes, I believe we were keeping the files here because they're really easy to navigate, or at least that's what I was thinking. Good to know people do it other places, but anyway. Okay, so and just I'm trying to follow. I've got my AELC card, so I'm trying to follow that a little bit if I seem jumpy.
No, trust me, I did exactly the same thing.
That's good. Okay, so I like you said, it's easy to navigate knowing the files are here, which is great. So what I put in here is like here's the signed agreement.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be signed from the host. Now I know with a public certification, it's not really a binding agreement.
Right.
And but the private, I'm doing the same thing with the privates. I noticed they haven't been done for the year, so I'm going to make sure I go back and do everything. So if you ever need it, it'll be here.
That's really helpful.
Okay.
Because very often,
yeah,
I'm sorry. Very often.
Go ahead.
very often after the case, questions come up, especially when we get to billing. So it's really helpful to have that there.
Okay, and I guess as far as the signed agreement, it's just the last agreement that we've received. Is there anything else I should do with this agreement other than put it here? Or what do you think?
The only other thing I do with agreements is I send them to Lisa to make sure they're uploaded into Insightly. But since you're already doing that, I think you're covered.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good. And I try to do, you know, the final thing. If they write on it, I try to go back and scan it and put it in here. If the host were right, so to make sure you've got the final copy if you ever need to see it.
Right. And if they are making any changes to our standard content, that would be something that you might want to send to me in advance.
Okay, that is really good to know. I know with the public, there's usually not a lot of changing, and if it is changing, it might be maybe we put something too specific, like, hey, we'll be in the vibrant room, and they go, no, it's the rose room, and they scratch out vibrant and put rose. But with private, I can see how that's important. And once Debbie does anything with the contract, I will maintain it throughout to make sure a private certification, it's always uploaded. Another question I have for you is, with private certifications, would you like to be sent the final agreement for you to keep in your licensing department?
The only thing we would do with a final agreement is make sure it gets into Insightly, so there's really no reason to do it twice.
That's good to know.
Yep.
So does it help you, does it make a difference for you and help you to know that these agreements are always going to be here in Insightly?
It does, because what happens is very often when a question comes up, I usually, because I'm not an automatic Insightly person, I usually go to the person and say, can you send me the agreement?
Right.
But knowing this, I probably can take out that step and find it myself.
Okay. Well, that's great. I'm glad. I think we've achieved our goal here, just making sure you know. And I'm that freaky detail person that, you know, it will always be here. And if there is a problem, then I must have been on vacation or something. So I'll certainly try to keep it for you.
Well, that's terrific. And this really is helpful because, like I said, I generally tend to reach out. I'm more of a verbal person, so I tend to reach out to a human being as opposed to a form. So this helps me a lot.
Well, okay. Any other questions about, I guess, this on Insightly? I know you know where it is, but this sounds good. Everything looks good.
I have just one question, and that is, once you upload the agreement, does the timeline move? Like, do you move it ahead?
You know, we do not have, like, we have the host agreement signed right here.
Right.
And Leslie Carney has been the one who's been receiving the signed agreement. She uploads it and then she moves it ahead. So yes, is the answer to your question.
Got it. Okay. Because I can see that there's still things to be accomplished on this one, but
yes,
it's good to know that it's up to date.
Yes, and I'm actually working on this one as we speak, and I thought, oh, well, this will be a good one because I've checked the host agreement, it's correct. I've uploaded my final tracking document by person that attended, and so now I'm going to go, I just did payment, so now I'm going to work on moving on the pipeline to make sure it's to where it needs to be.
That sounds great. It really looks good, and it's very organized and helpful.
Well, thank you. Okay, well, that was really it. I just wanted to make sure you understood it, and that's great. And I'll go ahead and stop recording unless you have any more questions.
No, I think I learned something today.
Yay! Thanks, Cheryl.